Myrtle Beach has 60 miles of the world's greatest beaches, and the rest is history. And that's Conway. And that's this morning's topic. Stay tuned. Carolina People's coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at People's Underwriters in Carolina Forest. We're focused on what this morning's guest terms the home of Myrtle Beach, Conway, South Carolina. And we're visiting with Larry Biddle. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Greg. How are you,
sir? I had to give you attribution finally. I'd like to take credit for that as I live in Myrtle Beach now, and we're highlighting the home of Myrtle Beach.
We are. That's correct.
Conway.
But you can use what I've always used, you know. First time I give you credit, after that it's mine.
and run with it, that's right.
And run with it, absolutely.
And you've done that before, and of course doing it again. And what about the new look? This is tremendous.
Oh, it's exciting. It is absolutely spectacular.
When's it going to come into play? When's it?
Well, it's already started.
Is that right?
It really has. We had the consultants in, almost a month ago, end of February. Actually, it was kind of funny. We leaped on the 29th of February. Which was leap day, leap year, so we said, let's leap forward, and that's what we did. But, you know, the power of it, and we've been talking about it for far too long. Right. When you look at the city of Conway and you know, where she started and where she went and where she is today, you know, a lot of us were going down different roads together. One of the things that I have encouraged folks about is, look, we all want quality of life, we all want a better community, but we got to learn to market this town, because the philosophy, not only in Horry County and in the city of Conway and even the state of South Carolina and across wherever our visitors come from, the philosophy and the concept was bypass Conway, 501 bypass,
right?
And now we got 22 bypass.
Thoroughly.
Everybody's bypassing a gem,
right,
full of history, full of beauty, full of oak trees, lots of unique pieces, the railroad, you know, on and on, the river. And so we said, you know, and it really was good, because the city of Conway this was done with a lot of grant money and cooperation between basically four groups and some corporate sponsors. The city of Conway,
right,
the Conway Visitor Center,
okay,
which was a piece, Conway Main Street, which has now recently been accredited by the National Historic Trust,
right,
first city in the state accredited.
The first one in South Carolina?
First one in South Carolina,
right,
yes, sir, nationally accredited. And then the Conway Chamber of Commerce. And those four entities said, you know what, yeah, let's come together, let's work together, let's stay together, let's get it right once and for all. Let's really brand our town, let's do market analysis, let's look at how do we get the word out about how powerful this town is and how charming it is and what unique things it has. So that's how it began, and it's exciting. It's you know, they unveiled it on the 29th at the new library on 9th and Main. Right. And it's already going to be. We've already used it for Downtown Goes Uptown.
Yes,
a week or two ago, I guess. We used it, some of the logos, and on purpose, you know, because they're stellar. And it created some commonality and a font that everybody can use. And everybody can, you know, plug in and do their thing, but it has a consistent look. And that's the real power of it.
Absolutely. I'm going to hold up real quick here. I don't know if viewers can get a good feel of that, to get a sense just, obviously the thrill is using, as we see in this next shot here, the sea. Share with viewers. Can you get that good? Share with viewers a little bit about...
Yeah, you look there and you see how, there's a piece about downtown, there's a piece about the visitor center, there's Main Street, there's the city itself, Parks and Recreation, public safety, and so forth. So each piece has its own individual image, but it's part of the greater whole, because all those pieces are in Conway.
And they all feed off of that sea.
That's right.
They all feed off of the sea. And you've got the little S below the sea. What is that?
That's the river.
The river.
It's
excuse
the sea,
me. Of course.
The bottom of the sea becomes the river, waves of the river, or the currents of the river, and it's a river town. It's a historic South Carolina river town. Right. Since 1732 is a while ago.
Right. 1732.
Yes, sir. That's when it was the town of Kingston, and then became Conway Borough. The funny one, I just loved it because it really showed that we were all ready. There were 80 people in the library to unveil all this because they'd had workshops and focus groups and 2 public meetings and working with every group you could have. And so Ben Muldrow got up, and he's out of Greenville. And the consultants, Randy Wilson, who's the historic state architect, has his firm and put together a team to come in, and they were there 4 days, and kind of sun up to way beyond sundown. I mean, those guys are working 11, 12 o'clock at night.
You can tell, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. He got up and he said, well, we look at the city of Conway's seal, and said, it has 6 dates on it. And everybody's going, oh yeah, it really does. It has Kingston, Conway Borough, Conway. It has the outline of Horry County, because we are the county seat, which is nice.
Sure,
that's
of course,
good.
yeah.
He said, but that seal in today's world just doesn't work very well. He said, the only good thing I could find about it was with all those dates, you could celebrate something every 3 years, which is really powerful.
Yeah.
And everybody went, oh yeah, you're right. So they came up with this one, which is just stellar. I mean, obviously the oak tree and the town clock, which are 2 of the major icons, and then the new moniker, the new font with the river off the river rolling through the O, just powerful, and
it is.
Everybody's very pleased.
You've got to be overwhelmed and possibly even emotional, just the excitement to think. And Larry, our director, Donald Smith, who of course is very intimate with Conway and has lived there much of his life, is highlighted that this has not been a 2-year, 5-year, 10-year process. This is something you all have essentially been working on for 3 decades.
Yeah, it really is. You have to. To get those 4 entities.
Right.
The timing was proper. The city has been looking at, and this is what kind of triggered it. The city was looking at the thoroughfares and the entrances to Conway, and the website. There's 139 slides. I mean, they had professional highway planners, and how do we get off 501 and come down Marina Drive, and how we get what happens at 16th Avenue. See, there's nothing that tells you what's going on over here. Everybody's got their blinders on and they're headed to the ocean, and we're not against that.
Sure.
Conway couldn't handle the 14 million tourists, and we just couldn't handle it. It would overwhelm us in a major way, but a couple % we can handle.
Sure,
that's kind of where we are. But anyway, so getting them all together, the city was ready, the visitor center was ready.
Right.
As was Main Street. Main Street's office is in the chamber, so we work together.
Oh, right, sure.
And I've done some workshops for Municipal Association of South Carolina with other Main Street programs, and it's not always the case that the chamber and the Main Street program work together. Sometimes they see themselves as adversaries, which is not healthy.
And unfortunate,
and very
unfortunate
that
is. Right.
And in our case, most people who join the chamber also want to join Main Street because the unique thing is the uniqueness of Conway and its history,
right?
Which is a magnet, and brings a lot of people there. So it was the timing was right.
Right.
Everybody was together, and everybody took some grant money that we all had, and we pooled it. So because it's not an inexpensive process to have this many professionals, 6 or 8 of them, in your town for 4 days.
Oh yeah.
Early in the morning till late in the evening. But that's how they came up with what they came up with. So it launched. We launched it 2 weeks ago with Downtown Goes Uptown. We put it on in our program.
Right.
It's getting ready to launch with this because we're currently underway in Conway is phase 3, Greg, of the Riverwalk.
Right.
And we got some signage. One of the things we found, and they noticed it immediately, Conway doesn't have wayfinding signs, is what they call them in the vernacular.
Right.
And so you can get people come over the historic bridge built in 1937. They get to Main Street somewhere down in there, and they say at Donald's wife's Park Smith shop, and they say, "Where's the river? We didn't see the river." Well, you drove over it. Oh, it's back that way. So 3rd phase of the Riverwalk has a lot more signage, gateways, at Main Street, which we pretty much have, but Laurel and Elm,
Oh, yeah.
And so, and all these new signs and banners and wayfinding things, it tells you where the parking is.
They will make a world of difference.
Oh,
they will make a world of difference. You know, we spent all last week filming at the Government and Justice Center. And if you don't think there's groups beyond just these four you're talking about,
oh, yeah.
212,000 square foot facility there, where everyone in the county is coming together as the centerpiece. There are a lot of folks that should be and would be, and throughout the county, interested, even though the 11, 12 district, the councilmen and women are focused on their own areas. At the same time, they've all got to be focused on the well-being, the strength, and the constant focus on Conway, and should be, because they spend enough time there. But that's a beautiful gem for the city.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And to know that all
stellar.
the attorneys essentially have to come through, whether they're at the beach or otherwise, they've got to focus on Conway. You could potentially even wrap in more groups interested in the future and the focus of Conway.
Oh, and we will do that because, you know, the grant money that we had was to get all this study done.
Right.
And it's not just graphics. I mean, they did market studies, they did highway design, they did entrance design and so forth, pavers and all kinds of stuff. Really, really stellar. And so, but then we got to launch it all.
Right.
You know, I mean, it just doesn't launch by itself. You have to launch it. So we said, well, let's launch it on the new banners. Let's launch it at Main Street. Mm-hmm. We'll launch it for the jazz and arts festival coming
up.
Right.
Of course, around the 4th, not far off.
Around the 4th,
sure.
Right after that, there's a logo there for that. You know, they created that already.
We've got one for also what's on your vest there,
Coastal Carolina University,
which is thoroughly a part of
Conway, South Carolina, founded in Conway.
Right.
One of the things we talked about is, you know, what's left of the original Conway High School on Laurel Street has got the arch, so we think it's appropriate to have something there, a monument or something that says this is the home of Coastal Carolina University, founded in 1954 in the after-school hours at Conway High School. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we haven't done that. We got to anchor that. That's very important. Mm-hmm. And yeah, a lot of people said, we need to tie together Horry Georgetown Tech,
right?
And they're going to do that through the culinary arts,
which is in Conway as well.
Which is in Conway,
yeah.
And we want to tie in Coastal Carolina University as well. So, two pieces, the Conway Medical Center is part of Conway,
right?
Has its home in Conway, and now is out, but it's still in the city limits now because they expanded the city limits. So,
I find a way to utilize those groups, piggyback on those groups, their marketing arms and their very extensive marketing arms to continue to build the C with the river coming into the O there. I'd take advantage of all those groups who are oftentimes, and they're building brands that have a C in them as well. Coastal Carolina University, obviously Conway Medical Center, they want to wrap around that. I'd find a way to even talk to them about, you can't do much with the Coastal logo or I guess the Conway Medical Centers, but making sure they wrap around this image is critical.
Yeah, they certainly can, and you know, it's the synergism is just unlimited,
right?
And that's the power of where we want to go.
Even right here where we are, here in Carolina Forest, which is a budding Conway now. Of course, a lot of folks think of this as West Myrtle Beach.
Right.
You think of Conway as the home of Myrtle Beach. So there's nothing wrong, as you said, with taking advantage of a lot of surrounding groups. I know everyone wants to keep focus on their own community, but golly, this is the county seat. You've used a date that folks can't even think of, 1732.